Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, the FBI is assisting with the investigation in Charlotte, North Carolina, following an ambush that killed 4 officers. Plus, millions of Americans will soon see their internet bills go up. Why that is, straight ahead.
Plus, we are tracking some warm weather to start the new month. Your forecast on the way as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Police have identified the 4 officers gunned down yesterday as they tried to serve a warrant at a home in Charlotte, North Carolina. As CBS's Manuel Bajorquez shows us, an emotional chief of police addressed the public today.
Knowing that you have families that are hurting right now.
The chief of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department wiped away tears as he gave an update on the ambush that killed 4 law enforcement officers.
Shots fired at officer, possibly 1 down. Subjects, correction, 2 down. Subjects barricaded himself.
The shootout started Monday as members of a U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force were serving a warrant on a felon police say was illegally in possession of a firearm. As officers approached, they say the suspect opened fire. Initially, investigators suggested the possibility of a second shooter, but now are not sure.
The suspect at the time had an upper advantage to the officers, so he was shooting from upstairs down at the officers, both front and back, which also could be an indication that we thought maybe there were multiple shooters at the time too.
Deputy U.S. Marshal Thomas Weeks, a 16-year veteran assigned to the Fugitive Task Force, was killed in the ambush.
Losing a deputy, using task force officers, is like losing a family member.
2 officers from the North Carolina Department of Adult Correction were also killed. William Alden Elliott and Samuel Peloche, both 14-year veterans, as well as Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officer Joshua Iyer. 4 other officers were hurt, but none with life-threatening injuries. Manuel Bajorquez, CBS News, Charlotte.
Police eventually shot and killed the suspect. 2 people inside the house at the time of the shootout are cooperating fully with the investigation and are not facing charges at this time.
We are tracking some wet weather on this last day of April. Some good news, no severe weather, but a few heavier downpours are possible as we go into this evening. Zooming into far southern Kentucky, also northeast Tennessee from Campbell County pushing into Claiborne County, and a few more heavier downpours close to the Bell County, also Willie County border, and some more light to moderate downpours from Harlan County pushing into Letcher County, also close to Norton for Wise County, moving into Lee County, Virginia, and same story for Pike County, close to Dorton, a heavier downpour along US 119, and that also stretches into parts of West Virginia from Wayne into Mingo, also Logan counties at this hour. So we are tracking some more rain chances this evening, but some drier and cooler air is on the way by late tonight, also to wake up in the morning. Right now, most of us in the upper 60s to lower 70s. And we are tracking some more hit or miss rain showers for this evening, but notice by late tonight, also for the overnight hours, we are trending drier, also more clear, and lows are back in the middle 50s to wake up on Wednesday. The big story for the middle of this week, we are toasty as we could see some upper 80s by Thursday. Those details coming up in just a little bit. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. Stormy Daniels' former lawyer took the stand as President Donald Trump's hush money trial continued today. Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. And as CBS's Errol Barnett explains, the judge found Trump guilty of violating his gag order.
And I'm going to go into the icebox now.
As the hush money criminal trial of Donald Trump got underway Tuesday, Judge Juan Merchan held the former president in contempt of court, fining him $9,000 for violating his gag order 9 times. Trump has since removed the social media and campaign website posts the judge found violated the gag order.
This gag order is not only unique, it's totally unconstitutional.
On Thursday, Judge Merchan will hear about 4 more alleged violations and suggested fines may not stop the former president from attacking witnesses and jurors. In a written order, the judge suggested, quote, jail may be a necessary punishment.
The next time there's a violation of the gag order, if and when, I don't think we'll see jail time. I think there'll be a couple of monetary warnings. and then you could potentially see jail time.
Tuesday afternoon, prosecutors called Keith Davidson to the stand, the former lawyer for both Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal. Daniels claims she had a sexual encounter with Trump, and McDougal says she and Trump had an affair lasting 10 months. Trump has denied both allegations. Davidson testified there was a bidding war for McDougal's story. Jurors saw texts between him and former National Enquirer editor Dylan Howard. "I have a blockbuster Trump story," Davidson wrote June 7th, 2016. Howard responded, "I will get you more than anyone for it. You know why." Judge Merchant also announced there will be no court May 17th, so Trump can attend his son's graduation. Errol Barnett, CBS News, New York.
Tomorrow, former President Trump, who is the Republican Party's presumptive presidential nominee, will hold campaign rallies in two key battleground states, Michigan and Wisconsin. Court will be back in session Thursday. Former President Trump says the Kremlin should release Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich. Trump made that comment in a Time magazine interview published today, adding that he did not know if the Biden administration would be able to accomplish the release. Gershkovich was taken into Russian custody last March on an espionage charge. U.S. officials say the Kremlin's claim is baseless and the Russian government has not provided any evidence to prove his guilt. Protests against the war in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas are not letting up. Dozens of protesters took over a building at Columbia University in New York early this morning. A Palestinian flag was unfurled out of a window in the latest escalation of demonstrations against the war. This comes as an anonymous Jewish student recently filed a lawsuit against the university, claiming they were not providing a safe environment for Jewish students. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the first shipments of aid to Gaza via the Erez crossing are leaving from Jordan. While at a humanitarian site outside of Amman, the top U.S. diplomat says this shows signs of important progress. Blinken added that besides food, other critical supplies, including medicine, must reach the people of Gaza. Blinken says he will be discussing that with the Israeli government on Wednesday. Millions of Americans will see their internet bills go up next month. That's because April is the last month the Affordable Connectivity Program is fully funded. With the program, more than 23 million households are getting between $30 and $75 off their monthly internet bill. The White House says they have money to partially fund the program through the end of May, but after that, unless congressional Republicans vote to extend the program, it will be out of money.
There's a lot of folks who are, they're struggling to make ends meet. And these sorts of investments provide a lifeline. And we need to understand that high-speed internet is not a luxury. It's a necessity across America. It's like water. It's an essential public necessity that should be affordable and accessible to everyone. That's what the president believes.
The White House calculates that Kentucky has received more than $266 million from the program, or about $13.5 million each month. Sources say the Justice Department will move to loosen federal restrictions on marijuana. Right now, pot is considered a Schedule I drug, which means it has no medical use and a high potential for abuse. Other drugs in that category include heroin and LSD. The Justice Department reportedly wants to move it to Schedule III. Those substances are considered to have moderate to low potential for dependence. It appears Kansas will not be banning gender-affirming care for minors. The State House failed to override Democratic Governor Laura Kelly's veto of the bill. Last night, the Republican-controlled Senate had enough votes to enact the ban, but the House was 2 votes shy. The measure would have stopped hormone therapies, puberty blockers, and surgeries for trans and non-binary youth in Kansas. TikTok is not the only Chinese export that lawmakers are looking at banning. They're also considering getting rid of the best-selling drone in the U.S. Officials with DJI say any accusations are baseless and lawmakers are letting fear drive policy. The concern is that the drones are all over the U.S. and used for non-commercial purposes, so they could be a security risk. The potential ban has passed out of a House committee, but that's really just the first step. A highly toxic chemical found most often in commercial paint strippers will soon be banned for most uses. The EPA finalized a rule that would end many uses of the cancer-causing solvent methylene chloride. The chemical is dangerous when the fumes are inhaled or when it comes into contact with the skin. One study found that even a tablespoon of the toxic chemical can kill. According to the CDC, long-term exposure to the chemical can cause at least 6 types of cancer. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, do you have the right credit card for you? An expert helps you pick the best for your financial situation.
Plus, we are tracking some drier and cooler weather overnight. Your forecast after this break.